Well, a win tonight would do wonders at the box office for Boom Boom Mancini. And even now, Boom Boom Mancini prepares to move into the ring. And here's a look at him and Ray Leonard. I can't help but wonder what's going through his mind. Now, you have been exactly in this same position. What can the man be thinking about?
Well, when I came back for the second fight with Roberto Duran, Barry, I thought about winning, confidence. And the expression on Mancini's face is a good indication. He's very calm.
Crowd is starting to react. We have a full house, as we mentioned here, and very good audience, knowledgeable boxing crowd, Larry.
You know, there's one important difference between your experience and his, which is that you were doing very well at the end of your first fight against Duran, and he was getting beat up at the end of his fight against Bramble. And there's been some second guessing about why he would come in his next fight against Bramble without having fought another easier fight after getting beat up.
There is also a school of thought that win or lose, this will be Boom Boom Mancini's last fight. He has said time and again, as many fighters have, that he just wants to make enough money to be comfortable and get out. He doesn't care about being rich. But that's an easier thing said than done, is it not, Ray?
It is, and I think the main thing on Mancini's mind, just winning this particular fight here.
Here's a look at Ray Mancini's record. He has the 2 losses. The man who beat him the first time is in the audience here, Alexis Arguello. And, of course, the man that beat him the second time is going to be the man who's right in front of him tonight, Livingstone Bramble. He has 23 knockouts. The last time they fought, it wasn't as much Bramble's offense that beat him as it was his defense. And that's what the man looked like before the opening bell on June 1st, 1984 against Livingstone Bramble, and afterward. It's a tough fight. There's another fact that should be pointed out here before we get started with round number 1. That is the fact that since January of 1982, any fight that has gone past 3 rounds, Ray Boom Boom Mancini has cut. Now, he's won most of them, but he's cut. And I have to think, Ray, that's going to be a big factor.
Well, because of Mancini's style, Barry, it's almost inevitable that he will sustain a cut. This time around, he's planning on using better defense. And like he said, fight a more strategic fight against Bramble. Not take those shots.
Let me be honest about the thing, though. The simple fact is, if styles make fights, then it really seems that Ray Mancini's style is just perfectly suited to that of Livingstone Bramble.
Well, that's true, because Bramble's a tall guy, lanky guy, and a very intelligent fighter, I would say. Mancini just has to be smarter, and concentration is the key to success.
And also, Mancini's punches come from outside. He doesn't punch straight ahead, even though he comes straight ahead. And what Livingstone Bramble did in fight number 1 is he kept his elbows in tight, and he never allowed himself to be hurt.
Mancini needs to use his left jab more. He's a short guy, quite naturally, but the left jab gets you closer. Those wide roundhouse punches will not be effective against a guy of the defense of Bramble because of the way he holds his hands.
Larry Merchant, something that you touched upon in your commentary, the simple question, it's a big question actually, is Ray Mancini strong enough?
Well, that's what we're going to find out. He may have to be a little bit more selective about his punches, which would help in his stamina, which would help in his defense, and perhaps help him to land harder punches. But I think the crucial thing in any fight is what happens when I hit you and you hit me. And last time, nothing happened when he hit Bramble.
And that's the simple fact of what happened last time and whether or not we're in for a repeat. Incidentally, what's going on now is an old boxing ploy. That is, you let the challenger stand around in the ring and worry about you and perhaps even cool down. That's something that you've talked about on numerous occasions, Ray. Livingstone Bramble now making his way out of his locker room, as you can see, swathed in a black robe, and the colorful hats that have become a part of his entourage. They are not without meaning, incidentally. They compose the colors of the flag of St. Kitts, of the Virgin Islands, and of the Rastafarian movement on the island of Jamaica. Lou Duva leading his man into the ring. And we really don't know much about this man, even though he is the champion of the world.
Well, I read and heard a lot of negative things about Bramble, but I had the opportunity to go up to his room, and I stayed with him for about an hour and a half, Barry. He's a nice guy. He's a personal guy. And he's just a very clean individual to me. He's a very unique guy. Quite
There's one thing we should also remember, which is that Mancini, rightly or not, was leading on 2 of the 3 cards when the last fight ended. And that his style is not only a crowd-pleasing style, but because he throws so many punches, it can sway the judges. If he can make this fight go the distance, I think he's got a real shot.
One of the criticisms of Livingstone Bramble is that he has been very erratic. Now, he had a great win before Lou Duva, going down almost for the count there coming into the ring here, and I'm sure Bramble hoping that is not a sign of things to come for him. Duva has said that the one thing that he wishes his man really did have was a little bit of fear. He has none. Now here's the record of Livingstone Bramble. 22-1-1, but he hasn't lost since 1981. The only loss coming to a fellow by the name of Tony Fletcher. He had a draw with Bruce Williams back in 1980. So he's gone almost 4 years without a loss. Livingstone Bramble coming in with a skull and crossbones on his back. And it says Bramble again. Let's look at how these two match up against one another. And they don't really match up very favorably, which again, styles make fights. More than 3 inches, or just about 3 inches, I should say, a height advantage and a tremendous reach advantage for Livingstone Bramble, which of course serves him well in a man who's going to come right at him. Now, of course, when Mancini gets inside, that's when the long reach of Livingstone Bramble works the other way. It works against him, really. So Bramble has some of the numbers, at least in height and reach, if in fact that's a factor. Well, we've got a new gizmo on HBO, for want of a better way to describe it tonight. And I think it's something, Larry, that is going to give us a pretty good barometer of what we're going to look for, and I'll emphasize the word barometer.
This is a toy we're toying with. It's a computer toy, which will give us an indication of some things in the fight. Mancini threw approximately 100 punches around in the last fight and landed about a quarter of them. Bramble threw approximately 65 punches in every round and landed a little over 50%. And this is a quantitative analysis of the fight. It doesn't tell you whether the punches are effective or not, but it may suggest whether there are any changes in strategy in this fight.
All right.
Now we're going to look at the number of jabs thrown in the first fight. And the reason we're looking at this basically is because Bramble threw relatively few jabs despite his reach advantage. He used his reach primarily for defensive purposes. He threw about 13 jabs around and landed about 6. He promises to throw more jabs in this fight. We'll see about that. One thing we do promise you is we won't beat you to death with these statistics. And if it comes out that Mancini's only throwing 10 punches around, it means that there's been a hacker in Kansas City who's broken into our computer. Barry.
Okay, fine. Right now, let's get to the ring announcer, the inimitable Jimmy Lennon, for the introduction to the fighters.
Boxing fans, here we go. Presenting 15 rounds of boxing for the World Boxing Association Lightweight Championship of the World, known as the Rematch in Reno. Presented by the Reno Sparks Convention Authority in conjunction with Main Event. Sanctioned by the World Boxing Association under auspices of Nevada State Athletic Commission. Executive Director Harold Buck. The officials appointed by the World Boxing Association judging at ringside, and they will decide the bout. The 3 judges: Jimmy Rondeau, Dave Moretti, Ed Levine. The referee will conduct the bout. Physicians at ringside, Dr. Edward Deney, Dr. Charles Filippini. Timekeeping at the bell, keeping count of the knockdowns. It's Jim Carpenter, timekeeper Johnny Rogers. And your referee to give instructions after introductions, Mills Lane. And here we go, presenting to you on my left, wearing black trunks with a red trim, fighting out of the red corner, hailing from Youngstown, Ohio, a trim and ready 135 pounds. Fine record, 29-2, 23 wins by knockout. The former WBA lightweight boxing champion, now number 2 in the WBA, and tonight as challenger, Ray Boom Boom Mancini. His opponent on my right, ladies and gentlemen, weighing in at 133 3/4 pounds, from St. Croix in the Virgin Islands, now fighting out of Montclair in New Jersey. His record is 22-1-1. He has scored 14 great knockouts. The weight again, 133 3/4. He is the defending champion, Livingstone Pitbull Bramble. Referee Mills Lane now giving instructions.
Okay.
Mills Lane is the district attorney of Reno. A tough one, they say.
Okay, all right, Gabe and now both of you guys have had your instruction in the dressing room. We don't have to go over them again. It's a title fight. It's conducted as such. Any questions from the challenger's corner? Any questions from the champion's corner? Nope. Let's get it on.
Let's get it on.
A little editorial comment by Mills Lane. Incidentally, a very fine referee. He has handled many, many championship fights.
Watch those gentlemen.
So it'll be Boom Boom Mancini, black trunks, red stripe. It'll be Livingstone Bramble, and he's got a little bit of everything on his trunks. Round one. Crowd really into the fight right off the bat here. Very up-tempo feeling here in Reno. Bramble says he wants to jab more. 6, 7, 8 times in a row if he can. Went with a hook right off the bat.
Bramble also mentioned to me, Barry, the fact he's going to go to the body more often. He felt that it was very effective in the first fight. The body shots, they took their toll. He claims this time around, he's going to work the body a lot more. Mancini, on the other hand, claims he's going to use his jab, which is a very good, short, strong jab.
That was a chopping right hand a moment ago by Mancini that did catch Bramble up on the side of the head. Lest you think Mancini cannot box at all, he did box predominantly in one fight, a victory over Pablo Morales rather early in his career. And he is capable of jabbing. Good combination by Mancini, backs Bramble off of him.
Well, see, there's a misconception. People think when you box, you have to move, dance around. That's not the case. Use the basics, the left jab, the right hand. Become more strategic. And this is what Mancini is doing now, using that left jab. Bramble now has turned to southpaw stance.
And he was most effective against Mancini as a left-hander in their first fight.
And what this does, Barry, it confuses the opponent because it's a very unorthodox style. And there he landed with the right hook.
Good right hook, and already a little bit of reddening alongside the eye of Boom Boom Mancini. Cuts, of course, have been the story of his life.
Ray looks very relaxed in there.
Bramble said that Mancini couldn't punch after the first fight. Said he never did hurt him. And later in the rounds, he just didn't worry about being hurt. Conversely, Mancini said he left his fight in the gym. A lot of action here in the first round.
The shoes of Bramble is not really holding. He seems to be slipping.
That, of course, a factor in the leverage of your punches.
Watch for the uppercuts, Barry, thrown by Bramble. First fight is very effective. He was able to raise the chin of Mancini and connect with those hooks.
A lot of action again here in the first round. Very up-tempo first round. Combination by Bramble with the right hand. Downstairs, then upstairs.
Now, the way both these guys are coming in, it's a good chance of a headbutt. There was collision of the heads.
And that headbutt, of course, very much a factor in the first fight. Mancini was cut seriously early on, although it did not bother him as the fight went on.
There seems to be a slight abrasion on the right eye.
Combinations once more by Bramble. And a good combination. Mancini was rocked by that one. I think that definitely got Mancini's attention, and Bramble, a big rally at the end of the first round.
Yeah, I got it. Now listen, your boxing beauty.
This is the exchange at the end of the round. A good solid left was the only clean blow that Bramble landed, but it was a good one.
And your jabs, understand? You're starting the basketball.
We're in Mancini's corner. He threw 88 punches and landed 22, the same percentage as he was landing in the first fight, but he threw about 25 punches fewer in this round than he had in the first fight's first round. He has a slight cut now that's showing over the left eye. It could be dangerous, but he had a more serious cut over the eye in the first fight, and it never bothered him.
This is the second round. Cuts have been a way of life, as he mentioned, for Boom Boom Mancini. And that eye was a little bit reddened, as I believe we did say, about a minute into the first round.
That was a good body shot thrown by Bramble.
That cut, incidentally, in exactly the same location as the one he had against Livingstone Bramble the first time around. Mancini got inside and got an uppercut.
What's happening, Bramble's throwing his punches, and he fades, he steps back, and then he comes back with some more of his punches. And that's the reason he's landing such beautiful shots on Mancini.
Good exchange once more. Little puffiness under the eye as well as over the left eye of Ray Mancini now.
Now also, Barry, you observe the counterpunching of Bramble. He's one of the best, if not the best. Now what you see here, let Mancini throw his punches, and then he'll come off with 4 or 5 shots.
Bramble being very patient with his punches. Should point out, too, this crowd is very much in the corner of Ray Mancini. So when he scores with a punch, you're going to hear the crowd a lot more than you will from Livingstone Bramble, who just got an uppercut in. So don't let the crowd fool you.
Mancini's not able to get some clean shots through the defense of Bramble. And what he needs to do, in fact, he had told me that he would go to the body more.
A little more blood showing now above and a little bit below the eye of Boom Boom Mancini, although that may be just from one cut. And you really do have to look for butts the way these two are fighting, because they are coming at each other at about the same level.
Bramble mentioned that he thought those shots, he said, around the heart area were really like paralyzing Mancini in the first fight. Little short shots.
Bramble getting the better of the action inside right at the moment. You almost have the feeling that Bramble just wants to see what the best that Mancini has is.
I like that left hook thrown by Mancini. He was inside close. But it doesn't seem to faze Bramble at all.
Now, Bramble said he never hurt him, and he said he really wasn't very much of a puncher, to be honest with you. Coming down toward the end of the second round.
Mancini has an excellent cut man named Paul Percival, excuse me.
Okay. Ray? No, don't look at me. Just listen. Just listen. All right. The jab is set him up good. But you gotta come on with some right hands to the neck, baby, like to the neck, okay? The jab breaking him up good. Okay? All right.
That's Murphy Griffith, Mancini's trainer.
Keep doing just like you're doing, okay? Keep the stick going. You're doing beautiful.
Now we're in Bramble's corner.
Come on, let me see that boxing now. All right, let me see that boxing. Okay, come on, get up there. Come on. Snap it, jab, turn it. Step in it, okay? Step in it, jab.
I gave Bramble the first round and Mancini the second round.
And in Bramble's corner, they're asking him to jab, just keep jabbing. He has been, but not like he said he would. He said he would in combinations. He has not necessarily been doing that. Both corners feeling their man doing just fine. And the cut over Mancini's eye is no worse after the end of 2 rounds than it was after the end of 1.
And it's so important to have a professional cut man in your corner. Here we're talking about the boxing. You don't have to really dance around. Just throw your jab, move around side to side.
That's a pretty good right hand by Mancini. That did back Bramble off of him for a moment.
Now I think the key for Mancini is to start making Bramble miss. Make him reach. And he can do that, Barry, by throwing that left jab. Make him miss. And then come back like he's doing now.
Mancini opened Bramble up for a moment there. Mancini coming up with his punches from inside rather than from outside with more effectiveness than he did in the first fight. And two good examples right there.
That was a beautiful left uppercut by Ray Mancini.
Mancini getting inside the arms of Bramble, even though Bramble is fighting the same kind of defensive fight that he did the first time, and that is keeping his elbows right close into his waist. But Bramble's getting inside of that, or rather Mancini's getting inside of that. That was a good right hand by Bramble.
Ray doesn't particularly need to be toe-to-toe with Bramble. Bramble appears to be much too strong for him inside, or whereas he gets too many, he gets his punches off first, and his punches are cleaner.
And the right hands have now opened that cut up over the left eye of Boom Boom Mancini. And Bramble scoring pretty effectively with that right hand.
I'm expecting for someone to go down now. I mean, the shots are starting to land.
Mancini's been getting inside very consistently. The thing is, he doesn't seem to be hurting Bramble by it. Now, of course, there is a cumulative effect.
Well, the punches now, both fighters have measured each other, and the punches now are landing on the chin.
Mancini seems able to back Bramble off of him when he does get that straight punch inside the guard of Bramble.
It's not going to be just one punch. It's going to be a combination that puts one down.
Good counter punch by Bramble. Might have hurt Mancini.
That punch dazed Mancini just now, but Mancini comes back.
And another good overhand right. And another. Bramble opening up very well. And another good right hand right to the side of the head of Boom Boom Mancini.
Great show.
This is a furious pace. Both fighters seem to be landing a much higher percentage of punches than they did in the first fight.
Sharpen inside, when you're inside, bring the punch up underneath and move it down, okay? Step aside, the pet is there.
Bag on the back of his neck. All right, Paul, you go ahead, work. You go ahead, work. Follow.
Give him some more, come on.
There you see the number of jabs Livingstone Bramble threw in round 3.
You got the fourth
That
round,
is-
right? Now listen to me.
That
when
is
I'm giving
fewer
you MGM,
jabs
listen
that
to
he
me,
was
give me
throwing
10.
on an
Now let
average
this
per
guy stay
round in
around
the
for
first
me.
fight.
Hey, okay, come on, now let's go. Hey,
Whatever that portends for the future remains for the future to decide.
And I think you made a key point, Larry, that it has been a really very fast pace. And now conditioning, of course, is going to play a factor.
It's been a furious pace. And both fighters have landed some tremendous and heavy blows. And because they have measured each other, I expected a knockdown. Someone hit the canvas.
Very good uppercut by Bramble.
I think if anything, you have to give these guys credit for their chins.
And they've both taken some very solid shots. Both of them took one there. Bramble is counterpunching very effectively here in about the last minute, about the last 45 seconds of the first that round, the preceding round, and the first 15 of this one.
What Bramble is doing, he's throwing left uppercut and then coming back with the left hook and right hand. This is exactly what Mancini needs to do. Bring his chin up and then connect with some other punches, not just one punch. I think that was a mistake that Mancini made the first time around. He was just loading up.
And again, a right hand counterpunch by Livingstone Bramble.
Now, once again, we have a trade-off of jabs.
Mancini's cutmen continue to do yeoman's duties in his corner. There is no further blood.
Now Mancini's starting to put his punches together, Barry.
Watch the head.
Not
both
one
of you.
punch. He's now putting 2, 3, 4 punches together.
Mills Lane yelling at both fighters to watch the head. Little blood from the nose of Ray Mancini now as well.
An interesting thing that Bramble told me in his room. He said if he loses his fight, he's nobody.
Well, he's fighting for respect. There's no question about that. Again, the uppercut effective for Bramble, and another combination, all of which score to the head of Boom Boom Mancini. And once again, Bramble throwing punches in combination.
Nice combination by Bramble. And again, I noticed the uppercuts are doing a great job.
He's been leading with the uppercut on occasion as well. It's been very effective. Leading with the right hand uppercut, coming across with the left hand. And again, he opens up Boom Boom Mancini. And once more, big round for Livingstone Bramble.
The most noticeable thing about these first 4 rounds to me is that Livingstone Bramble is fighting a much more confident fight. Mancini's furious pace is his defense as well as his offense, and since he's throwing fewer punches, Bramble has more opportunities to punch on his own.
Lou Duva in the corner of Livingstone Bramble exhorting his charge to double up on the jab. And we'll see if Bramble does that. He did right there, missed with one of them, however.
And the reason he wants him to double up on that jab is because Mancini has been countering with just one jab. He's been timing the jab of Bramble.
Uppercut by Mancini, but he hasn't been able to hurt Bramble.
Bramble has that style that is tough to penetrate. And sometimes those roundhouse punches of Mancini will be the only thing that will get through. Bramble keeps his hands very high.
Bramble seems to be the more authoritative of the two punchers right at this juncture of the fight. And Bramble got the better of that exchange.
That shot to the body appeared to have hurt Mancini. That right hand to the body thrown by Bramble. There's another cut.
Blood from the right eye of Boom Boom Mancini. And that cut seems to be more serious than the one that he had earlier. It's alongside the eye, so the blood won't get into the eye.
Now we see some desperation in Mancini.
And there's a sharp uppercut by Bramble. Bramble's corner wants him to go get Mancini right now. Another good combination by Bramble.
Again, Bramble's turned southpaw.
He's been very effective as a southpaw. He has not done it as much tonight as he did in the first fight. A lot of blood alongside the eye of Ray Mancini. That is the right eye.
Ray has taken some tremendous shot from Bramble.
And a right hand lead and then a right hand uppercut as he again goes southpaw.
Watch for those shots to the body, towards the heart. This is what Bramble said he would do this time around. There, that was a shot.
Bramble punching very sharply, much more so than in their first fight. He's fighting like a champion tonight.
At this point for Mancini, it could be very discouraging. It is a hell of a line. He's still trying to come back.
Yeah, you have the feeling that Mancini might have already hit Bramble with his best shot.
Let's take a look here and see what caused that cut, whether it was a punch or a butt. I couldn't quite tell.
Jury's still out. 6th round. Mancini again leaps off the stool. Bramble fighting what appears to be a very smart fight, Ray.
It's probably a very technical fight, Barry. He's taking his time and he's not really burning any unnecessary energy. He waits for the right time and then he counter punches. And then, I mean, when he unloads, he puts everything behind each punch. Watch the way he digs to the body.
He's fighting like a guy who really does not believe that his opponent can hurt him.
He reminds me a lot of the way George Foreman used to knock his opponents out. Walk straight to him. Their punch didn't bother him. And I think that the same thing applies to Bramble.
Bramble back to the southpaw again. That's a pretty good right hand by Mancini. Might have been his best punch of the fight. Bramble fights back.
That was a beautiful combination. In the first fight, Bramble turned southpaw. He's ambidextrous, and it was effective in the first fight, and he's going to do it again.
Left eye of Mancini starting to close.
Mancini lands some good shots now. He's coming back.
That's the first time he's backed Bramble off of him.
Bramble stopped for a second.
He stopped a couple of times here in this round, and Mancini now presses the attack, and the crowd comes alive.
Now Mancini needs to go to work now. I think
Bramble is hurt.
Yes. He seems to be wobbling.
You can see it in his legs. And some of the starch is gone from Livingstone Bramble.
Now this is when Mancini needs to go to work now. This opportunity does not come often. Now he knows Bramble's not punching back now. He's trying to clear his head.
And Mancini tried to press the attack. He knows he had his man hurt.
Now this is when the left hook of Mancini should work.
I don't think Bramble's got the cobwebs quite out yet. And he took another shot that backed him up. And Mancini comes right on his man. And all of a sudden it's Bramble that's fighting Mancini's fight.
Bramble now is starting to make a mistake that Mancini made the first fight, just trying to load up. He's forgetting what he has.
Big round for Ray Boom Boom Mancini.
That was clearly Mancini's best round.
It's high in the lid.
Now we're going to take a look
any worse, I'll
at
bring
the
him over.
best
I'll make it so.
fusillade of punches yet thrown by Mancini in this fight. Perhaps the best punches he's landed on Bramble in either fight. There you see that Mancini is still throwing over 100 punches around, but he landed 50%, which is twice as many as he was landing in the first fight.
We come to the 7th round, and let's see what kind of impetus it had. Bramble at the end of the round, I don't know if you heard Ray Leonard mention, started to go to a neutral corner instead of his own. So you know he was stunned. I will see what the 1 minute between rounds did for him. Lou Duva told him he's got to keep his hands up.
Again, Mancini, when he used that left jab, he made Bramble miss.
That was a good shot to the body that time by Mancini. And he took one to give one that time. Mancini trying to go to the body a little bit more here. Bramble trying to wind up like a bolo punch.
This is when Mancini can throw lead off right, a counter right hand, because Bramble's left hand is down. And he's starting to drop it now, bro. If you watch for that, you just notice that every time Bramble throws that jab, he starts to drop it. This is when Mancini has an opportunity to counter with the right hand.
The story on the cuts of Mancini is that blood is more perceptible alongside the right eye, but that's not a cut that would cause him as much problem as the one that has not really reopened since the first round over the left eye.
Come on, bust your head, both of you, come on.
Bramble is definitely slow to step. Now, whether he's just taking a breather or not remains to be seen.
Well, now that you mention that, again, without my conversation with Bramble, he said the reason he took his time and weighed back and slowed down, rather, was because it was his first time going 15 rounds. He wanted to burn himself out.
Little blood along the inside of the eye now. 1 minute remaining here in the 7th round. Tremendous pace in this fight by both men.
Again, Bramble is starting to load up. He's putting a lot of power behind that right hand. He's put his entire body behind it.
A lot of blood showing on the face of Mancini now, too. Might have opened up another little cut alongside the bridge of the nose. But that left eye is starting to get a little bit of blood in it, and that could really be a problem.
It also appears, Barry, that it's starting to close, which means a lot of problems.
Combination once more by Mancini. Mills Lane doing a good job of letting them fight and yet maintaining control. And that left eye of Mancini is now giving him some problems, I feel quite sure, because it is starting to close. Well, I think Mancini's corner pretty much said anything that we could about the condition of the eye. And now we'll see if Bramble can do anything about it, or if Ray Mancini can just suck it up.
Well, the fact of the matter is, Barry, Mancini claimed that he couldn't see the punches coming because of the condition of his eyes. We're talking trouble here. It also means that more of Bramble's punches will start to land now. And you probably see more lead-off rights because he's going to concentrate on that left eye. Bramble possibly could step to the right side of, well, step to the right rather, and throw lead-off rights to the blind side of Mancini.
Combinations by Bramble, who seems to have perked up here in the 8th round. And Mancini's left eye just about closed now. Is this a time, Ray, that it just gets down to being a case of guts for a fighter like Ray Mancini?
That's true, but it's, you know, at this point now, Ray will just have to get lucky in here and land a big blow again. But I don't think that Bramble's going to cooperate with that. Bramble see the condition of the eye.
Give me time.
I think Mills Lane is going to have it examined by the doctor.
And the doctor in the state of Nevada can stop the fight.
Time. Let him look at it. Let him look at it.
Mills Lane just saying, let him look at it.
Huh? Blur. Can you see? It's blurry. It's blurry. The doctor asked him if he can see, and he said yes.
He said it's blurry,
You can't see it all, huh? He said he can't see it all.
Yeah, he said it's blurry, is what Ray Mancini said.
Well, the doctor is giving him another chance or opportunity. I doubt very seriously if Ray can come out for the next round.
I don't think they'll let it go too far here. Mills Lane did the right thing, I feel.
Look at the concentration in Bramble's eyes. He's basically just picking his shots now.
Mancini has another minute to get through this round. And I think his corner's about run out of miracles.
You know what I like about Bramble? He's not rushing himself. He's trying to make every punch count. Once again, he goes to the body.
Okay.
And not much sting in Mancini's punches right at the moment, although he did make him blink that time. But Ray Mancini fighting by feel here.
The eyes really bother him now, Barry. I mean, he's rubbing it with his glove. I think this is it.
End of the 8th round, but it may well be the last.
Conceivably, that could be one of the last rounds of Ray Mancini's career.
The eye is not yet closed. Corner doing what it can. Bramble knows, of course, that he is very much in control at the moment. You know, he came with a wild right hand there.
You know, when Bramble throws his punches, he falls into it. falls into Mancini. He actually runs into Mancini.
Everybody has been saying that this is a Rocky type of fight. Well, if it is, Ray Mancini's going to have to find all of Rocky Balboa that he can. And remember, Rocky Balboa only had a draw.
Was that Rocky?
Simple fact is, Mancini's punches do not have the sting that they did.
That was a good shot, once again to the body. It's like a jab that Bramble execute that punch to the body.
And Mancini just trying to get inside where he can feel his man.
He backed off just now, Mancini did.
Bramble seems content to stay in there and slug with him. And Mancini now appears to be a little bit rocky.
Ray's not giving up, but he's basically on instinct now. I noticed one thing, Bud. When Bramble, he's looking at the floor, or looking at the trunks of Mancini.
Yeah, he looks almost like he's looking at his belt buckle, which is sort of an old basketball trick. A lot of basketball players will look at your belt buckle because they say your waist is not going to betray where you go.
Both fatigue has set in with both fighters. Bramble especially because Bramble threw a lot of shots. You notice that Bramble's missing again. And Mancini's on the attack.
And he is. Bramble just backs off, even though Mancini's punches don't seem to have much in them.
Now you may see Bramble retaliate. I think all he's doing now is just getting a breather.
He took an uppercut there with his back to the ropes. Mancini just trying to muscle Bramble. Coming down toward 10 seconds remaining here in round 9. Good right hand there by Bramble.
Let's take a look from above at the flurry that Mancini landed at the end. Those two punches missed. The left poured in. There's another left, a third left, and then a right and a left. The most decisive flurry of that round. If he goes out in this fight, he's going out on his shield, and as we noted before the fight, he's giving a supreme effort. Bramble threw a lot of punches for him in that round, and perhaps he has a little fatigue occasionally. He's not used to throwing that many punches.
There was a lot of punches thrown by Bramble, and he took a breather on the ropes. That's when Mancini was able to come on the attack.
Almost a case of who to thunk it, but Ray Mancini's been around here for 10 rounds now. And as Larry Merchant mentioned, it wasn't a bad round for him.
You have to give credit to Mancini's corner, his cut man. Because I think that's exactly what saved him from being stopped on cuts.
The fact is, Bramble does not seem to be quite as frisky as he was a little bit earlier. His legs seem a little bit slower. Still appears to be the harder puncher of the two.
Back to southpaw again, Bramble's change. And with very good intentions, because by being a southpaw, we're talking a right hook, not a left hook. And that's what the bad eye is. Mancini's left eye.
Mancini, the left-hand counter punch. Bramble trying to go downstairs around the heart area. Now took a good uppercut.
See, Mancini can't see those shots coming, Barry.
Well, that's what he said in his corner about 3 rounds ago. Maintained that it was a little bit blurry after the 8th round. once again, a right hand, and that opened up the eye.
Mancini's corner, Dave Wolf is yelling at Mills Lane to tell Bramble to watch his hair.
And more blood alongside the right eye of Ray Mancini, but that is not, as we mentioned earlier, even though it looks pretty nasty, that's not one that's going to cause him as much problem because the blood is alongside the eye, not in it. Bramble is doing some leading with his head here. And good shot that time by Bramble. Slowed Mancini up. And a combination again. And that might have taken a little more out of Ray Mancini. 30 seconds remaining.
Bramble must be made of solid stone because we all know that Mancini can punch. And Bramble's been taking it.
The interesting thing is, of the two, Bramble seems to be the more tired fighter.
I think that honestly reflects what we're seeing in our quantitative analysis through fight stats.
And I don't think you're right because when Bramble is leading, he's not that effective going forward. He's better as being a counterpuncher.
Dave Wolf continues to be arguing about something, and I don't know what it is. We'll try to find out.
It was the hair. He kept saying, watch Bramble's hair. I guess he was talking about the hair is getting inside of Mancini's eyes.
And he continues to make his point to one of the members of the commission here.
I don't think they have time to give Bramble
Send
a
him in for a
haircut.
haircut. No, I don't think so. This is not the first time this discussion has come up. There was a conversation last week about this very thing, and there was some discussion as to whether or not he would be allowed to wear a form of dreadlocks. They're really not dreadlocks.
I think they're very becoming.
Not for me. Meanwhile, Mancini remains right in front of Livingstone Bramble. And it does look as though Mancini is almost heard what Larry Merchant mentioned between rounds, and that is waiting for Bramble to come to him.
Well, both fighters' pace have slowed a great deal. And now it's just a matter of waiting to get that second win.
One thing you have to start to at least think about here, even though Bramble has had the most punishing punches, who has really been the most effective puncher in the fight?
Well, both fighters have landed some devastating punches. I think Bramble's landed more effective shots.
Mancini got a quick left hand in.
I'm still waiting for a leadoff right by Mancini because once again, Bramble's dropping that left hand.
That right hand was caught in the gloves of Ray Mancini. Again, blood alongside the right eye, but we'll emphasize once more, that's not the one that really bothers him. Uppercut by Bramble got in.
Bramble goes back down to the body. It's like a stab the way he goes to the body.
There was a good uppercut.
Beautiful uppercut.
Snapped the head of Ray Mancini back. Bramble being a little bit more active this round. Should point out that there's been no blood along the left eye of Ray Mancini for about the last 3 rounds. The swelling is still there, but no additional blood.
Again, body attack by Bramble. And it's starting to wear down Mancini. Mancini's steadily retreating now.
After that round, I'm ready to give the Nobel Prize for Medicine to Ray Mancini's corner.
Now here's what I want you to do. Now listen to me. Well, listen to me.
Champ,
I want you to go to the jab.
You're hearing Lou
right,
Duva.
And I want you to snap the right hand at him. You got this here now? Jab your way in with double jabs, and I want you to snap the right hand.
as you're doing, to towel it down, okay?
I did.
I know what you're every round. Okay, all right.
Hold it back.
Hey, I want you to double your jab, understand? And I want you to snap their right hand and come right back with the hook, right? When you're on the inside, close them, rip up the body. Okay, your uppercuts are working beautifully. Get away.
You'll be world champion again. Ray Mancini getting cleaned up by the surgeon, Paul Percyfeld.
Hit him with that left hook to the body. It hurts him every time.
Keep that hook to the body. Keep that hook to the body over the top of the right hand.
Well, the last 4 rounds, conditioning. Let's see how Livingstone Bramble can handle the fact that he's been more active than he's accustomed to being.
Again, the corner of Mancini is yelling at Mills Lane because of the grease on Bramble's face.
Both corners, incidentally, telling their man to go with the right hand to the body. And in Bramble's corner, they tell him to keep uppercutting, which he just did, and effectively so. There's a good series of punches by Bramble. Bramble pressing the attack a little bit more here in the 12th round.
Bramble told me that Mancini is easy to hit because his body is so wide. It's such a large target.
There's a right hand right on the nose of Bramble. It might have stung him. Mancini now right on top of Bramble. Might have had him hurt for just a moment.
It's just so difficult to tell with a guy like Bramble. He doesn't change his expression.
No, he doesn't seem to get hurt. He seems to get stunned. You can almost see him just sort of stop. He doesn't go forward. He doesn't go backward.
Bramble punches from all angles. You know, the uppercut, he throws bolo punches, under and over.
Uppercut has been his most effective weapon tonight. There he got a good left hand in.
He's not letting up now.
And a right hand right on the chin of Mancini, thrown by Livingstone Bramble, a champion. 1 minute remaining here in round number 12.
Body attack once again by Bramble. This crowd is really fired up. I know exactly what's going through Mancini's mind now. He knows fully well he's behind on points, and he only has a few more rounds to go, so he wants to give it his all.
Try to get inside if he can. That's where he's most effective. Bramble lunges with the right hand. More blood flowing freely from the right eye. Mancini took another good right hand from Bramble.
And to see Bramble's uppercut here, he calls that his Belenji punch, which is named after a Caribbean eggplant. There it is again.
You got that, baby? You got it?
Wipe him dry, wipe him dry.
Pressure on him. Look, don't let this guy steal nothing away from you here. Don't let him steal him. Let me see that jab. 2 jabs. I want to see a double jab.
You hear, Lou Duve is a wise old trainer and manager, and he understands what's happening here, which is that Mancini may indeed be stealing some of these close rounds simply because he's more active. And now Mills Lane is ordering them to take some of the grease off Bramble's face, and he's doing it himself.
Bramble said, okay, let's get on with it, and they do. And immediately blood flows from the right eye of Ray Mancini.
They're yelling for Mancini's corners to tell him to use his jab.
Again, Bramble lunging, and Mancini's corner asking Mills Lane to tell him to watch the head. No knockdowns in this fight. But it's been a tremendous fight for the crowd of some 13,000 here at the Lawler Event Center in Reno.
Bramble was being effective going straight ahead because Mancini's making a mistake of going straight back. So what he's doing in actuality is giving Bramble momentum to continue to throw those punches. What Mancini should be doing is giving him angles. Step side, step to the left, step to the right. Not move straight back.
Good left hand from Bramble that time.
The left eye of Bramble seems to be a slight swelling there.
A little bit of blood too, although it's possible that is from Mancini. A lot of blood around the right eye of Mancini, but remember, it's the left eye that has been giving him more trouble. If you're watching in color, it's pretty ugly, isn't it?
Mancini's trying to drop that right hand.
And I think the blood is from underneath the eye of Mancini, or rather of Bramble. And a combination by Mancini. Bramble says, come on. Bramble talking to him.
I think what Mancini's corner wanting him to do is to try to steal this fight.
Combination by Bramble. Backs Mancini up for a moment. They're in close range. Remember, the first fight went 14 rounds. This one will also go 14, at least. Doctor came in the ring and said, how do you feel? Mancini said, I'm fine. Doctor said, you look good. I'll tell you what, I don't want him buying any artwork for me.
No way. Now, Mancini could possibly steal this fight. And I think this is their intentions now. For him to be aggressive for the next 2 rounds. And possibly get the judges nod.
Lou Duva is very well aware of that, too. And he said, don't let this guy take anything from you. He wants to do what, Ray, you said he should be doing about 5 rounds ago, and that is come with the right hand where Mancini can't see it.
Bramble needs to go to the right side, to the blind side of Mancini, which is his left. And there, that right hand lands.
Again, a lot of blood from the right eye of Ray Mancini, but it is all alongside the eye. And the right hand of Bramble is now being an effective weapon for the first time since Mancini's eye was almost closed in about the 8th round.
Mancini needs to continue to fire back. He can't let Bramble take full control of this fight.
Stepping back for a moment now. What you hear, incidentally, are not boos. The crowd is saying boom, boom. By Bramble again.
That's good movement by Mancini. But he has to continue to fire back, Barry. Especially that was a good
combination
shot.
Slowed up Bramble again.
Once Bramble gets his punches off, Mancini needs to retaliate with something.
Bramble came right back with the left hand after Mancini had stung him again, or at least gotten his attention with a combination.
Like now, you notice when Bramble missed a couple shots, Mancini comes back. Good head movement. Very good head movement by Mancini.
Again, combinations by Mancini. Back Bramble up. But Bramble right back with a jab in the face of Mancini. But Mancini very active here, and that could be a factor. Another pretty good left hand by Mancini. We're going to go 15. 3 minutes of boxing left. The entire Lawler Event Center is on its feet as one.
Both fighters realize this last round is very important. You're going to see two fighters come to life all of a sudden, totally rejuvenated.
Mancini got the first 2 punches of the round in.
They just hit heads again.
And now there's a little blood showing from the left eye of Ray Mancini. It hasn't been showing for the last 6 rounds. But of course, Mancini will throw caution to the wind here in this fight. Both men scored with left hands. I've rarely heard a crowd into a fight as much as this one.
Time.
And we're going to get another look at Ray Mancini's eye. And his corner is not pleased about it at all.
The cut on the left eye is reopening. It looks a lot worse now.
Hey, Tommy, okay. Let him finish.
I see what?
Let him finish.
He said let him finish. Mills Leno once again doing the right thing. Very nasty cut over the eye. Little bit of blood showing from the eye of Bramble as well.
Mancini now is starting to pick up the pace now.
Bramble just trying to stay away. That may not be enough.
Bramble should be aggressive now. I think this fight is just too close to be moving around now.
Remember, this is the 15th and final round. Mancini pressing the action despite the fact I know he can't see his man. That was a good left hand by Bramble. And Mancini fights back.
This crowd is so excited. It's as though 1 million people are in here. And they all are chanting boom boom.
And both men just going for it here in the final round.
It's just so unfortunate there has to be a loser, Barry.
There really isn't a loser, to tell you the truth. Once again, Mancini trying to press the action. Bramble fighting the intelligent fight right at the moment. Both men still respecting each other. Right hand by Mancini.
Mancini now is on the attack now.
20 seconds of boxing remaining here. Everybody on their feet.
The crowd is just going crazy.
This fight is up for grabs.
I would hate to be a judge.
And they will end it the way they started it, fighting. It's over. Listen to the crowd. Well, two fighters who you can see just had great respect for each other at the end of the fight. As you mentioned, there's no loser here.
We take precedence over everybody.
This is going to be a popular and an unpopular decision at the same time.
Who gets the decision here in this bout? You have witnessed an outstanding championship main event. They both
And Jimmy Lennon, of course, echoing the thoughts that we had. Obviously, both men feel that they have a shot of winning it. I think there's probably a little bit more confidence, Ray, in Bramble's corner than there is in Mancini's, realistically.
Well, there's no question about that, bro. I mean, this fight I think is up for grabs now. Because of the dramatic finish and the comeback of Mancini, he could have caught, and psychologically could have caught the nod of the judges.
It really depends on what is a judge looking for.
Well,
if he's looking for punches that do more damage, then maybe you give it to Bramble. If he's looking for just busy work, punches that land, then you might have to look at Mancini.
Well, that's when you have the controversy, because every judge looks at a fight a different way. Some look at the effectiveness of punches, some look at the number of punches that land, whether or not they are good, hard, solid punches, and some look at aggression. Who's the most aggressive?
I have to say, I have seen some of the funnier decisions I have ever seen in the state of Nevada. So we will see what this is strictly in the hands of the judges. I could not begin to speculate as to how they will see the fight.
You know, and what's going through Mancini's mind right now, I mean, you couldn't figure it out, because he's thinking this is it. This is my day. This is my night.
Well, Ray Mancini, you have to think, is in a no-lose situation. He's a winner whichever way you look at it, because he has talked about hanging it up after this, walking out of the ring tonight and saying that's it, no more. Well, if he walks out a winner, all the better for him. If he walks out a loser, it's just a tremendous fight. This is one of those fights, of course, that when they vote for the fight of the year, this is the kind of fight they look for. Let's get up to ring announcer Jimmy Lennon now. We will get the official decision. Jimmy.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. We have a unanimous decision. I will read the point totals. Jim Rundle scores 143-142. The same score, 143-142 by Dave Moretti. And Bill Levine sees it 144-143. It's a one-point edge, unanimous decision to the still champion Livingstone Bramble.
Well, it's a decision, Ray. I don't know that there would be any argument about it. It was a one-point fight. I don't know whether it came down to the 15th round or not. That's something we will find out after the fact. I don't think really that there is anybody around here, including the loser, Ray Mancini, who will argue with that decision.
No, it was very close. Very close.
All right, right now let's get up to Larry Merchant. He is with a dead game, Ray Boom Boom Mancini. Larry?
Ray, that was about as gallant a fight as I've ever seen. What were your feelings about the fight and the final scoring?
Well, first of all, I want to thank my Lord Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, for the strength, power, and the courage. Say hello to all the people of Youngstown for the prayers and support. And God bless all the people down on Mulberry Street. And thank you for all the fans across the country. You know, it was hard to see it with the eyes. It just seemed to be my downfall from the last half of my career, my cuts. This fight, I cut early and blood was seeping in. I couldn't do a lot of things I wanted to do because of the blood. I had to fight a lot of defensive-wise blocks. But I'm just thanking the Lord for carrying me. And the scoring, I wasn't worried about the score. I just tried my best to win it. And if they think it was close, that's good. He's a good champion.
Along about the 9th round, you were saying that you couldn't see out of your eye.
Right.
Did it... Excuse me. Did it clear up for some reason in the later rounds?
Well, I tell you, no, man, just have a great cut man in Paul Persfield. He helped. He closed them up. My eye was swelling. We had quite a bit in there, you know. He hit me with some good right hands. I just couldn't see him all the time. But I just thank God for carrying me, and I feel good.
Is this your last fight?
I don't know, Larry. I'm gonna have a good rest, and we'll see. I got to see how the desire is. That's all. Thank you.
You very much.
All right, so there you have the loser in this fight, and I use that term very loosely. There really isn't a loser in this fight. And Livingstone Bramble, I think, will start to get credit now for being the type of fighter worthy of being a champion.
Well, yes, Barry. In fact, he displayed sportsmanship, which was the key. You know, people said the negative things about him, the gestures that he made. That may be true, but I think this fight here proved that the man has class too.
There's no question about his abilities as a fighter. People question his lifestyle. Well, that's up to him, I guess, how he wants to deal with things, what he wants to do. The simple fact is he has beaten a very game fighter on 2 successive occasions, and maybe school may still be out on just how good Livingstone Bramble is, and we might know in the next fight. Now, the next fight is imminent, of course, for him. Meanwhile, Larry Merchant trying to maneuver himself into position with the champion, and he is there. Let's go to Larry.
A little closer than it looked like it was going to be in the middle of the fight. How would you describe what happened?
Well, Ray was throwing a lot of punches, but I was landing a clean shot. I'm not much of a combination style fighter. I'm basically a guy to counter punch. And Ray, the fight was judged properly. It was a close fight, not in terms of who was hitting who more, but who was more aggressive and throwing more punches.
How do you feel about him now? You've had some real differences of opinion with Ray Mancini, but it seemed this fight and seeing how gallant he was, being cut up and bleeding, he won your respect.
Well, he didn't win my respect, Philly. I always respect Ray. Dave Wolf is the one that really caused all the discrimination between me and the camp.
What are your plans now?
Well, right now I am the Universal Champion, and I would like to fight no other than Hector Macho Camacho.
We'll see when that happens. Congratulations, Livingstone Bramble.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we got about what we expected tonight, I think. We got a full-out, all-out effort by both fighters. Ray Mancini is the sort of fighter, the sort of athlete who lives fast and dies young as an athlete. He's a meteor. He flashes across the sky. He blazes while he's in the sky, and then he falls to earth. He just gives everything of himself. I don't think he has anything to be ashamed of. The fact that he won the title for his dad, perhaps he couldn't win it for himself, but I don't think I've ever seen an athlete get more out of his ability, and that will make him a champion in the eyes of those who have watched his brief and meteoric career. Now back to ringside.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Ray, let me ask you, what would you say in terms of advice to Ray Boom Boom Mancini? Would you like to see him keep fighting? Would you like to see him just get out right now?
Well, not really, because, I mean, those punches take their tolls, and the fact that it's so unfortunate that he suffered so many cuts in his entire career. I think Ray has displayed that he still has he had the desire to go in again against Bramble, and it was such a gallant display of determination.
How good is Livingstone Bramble?
I think he's as good as people make him. There's a lot of pride in Bramble, and I think you're going to see a lot more of it.
He says he wants to fight Hector Macho Camacho. The reason for that, I'm sure, it's a big money fight. It's obvious. Now, what about Camacho? Here's a guy who's been away. He's had the one fight. Would you want him? Were you in Bramble? I don't mean you personally. Were you in Bramble's shoes?
No, because I think that a guy like Camacho, quite naturally, a lot of people know Camacho, and he has that following. And to defeat Camacho, man, it will put him on top. And Bramble, at this present time, needs that type of recognition as far as the general public is concerned.
Well, Ray Mancini's father once said to him, Ray said his father had said that boxing is tough and it's painful and it's lonely. And Ray has always said, well, I could deal with the first two. I just can't deal with the last. Well, after tonight's performance, I really don't think he's going to have to deal with the last. We want to remind you to join us for HBO's next telecast of World Championship Boxing when heavyweight champion Larry Holmes defends his title against the #1 contender, David Bay. That'll be live on Friday, March 15th, right here on HBO. So for Larry Merchant and Sugar Ray Leonard, I'm Barry Tompkins saying so long from the Lawler Event Center in Reno, Nevada. Executive producer of HBO Sports is Tim Brain. Tonight's telecast was produced by Ross Greenberg and directed by Jeffrey Payton Goff. The associate producers were Linda Christian Jackson and Rick Bernstein. The associate director, Peter DePaula. The assistant to the producer, Michael J. Whalen. And the production manager, John McCallie.